Hello, my name is Su'eddie Vershima Agema, and this is Poems I Love. In this episode, though, there are poems that I want to read to you, poems you should love. And the first is The Law of Waters, taken from Servio Gbadamosi's Where the Light Enters You. A book that brings delight, not one of his best works. I think his best collection is A Tributary in Servitude, but that one is very hard to the teeth, and it's not the kind of thing that you might easily want to read out. It's something you should meditate on. So let's take this one that's like a camel that you can drink easily without too much wahala. This is The Law of Waters, L-O-R-E of Waters. The Mediterranean is an ocean of skeletons and dreams, starvation without harvest in sight. The white savior stopped keeping count of bodies, hugging the turbulence until they were slammed ashore. The fishes refused the meal. 3,000 years of black history is no match for the meal of the stomach. Olokun watches, ferrying our brethren between worlds in the full glare of her hungry children. On the shores of the Atlantic in Lagos, the water has become a field of glass. I see the deepest confines of my soul. I walk exploring the sounds. Tonight, in Kano, a fleet of buses is loading, heading to the fringes of the Sahara in search of hope. Is the skin the people wear, but we all know how it ends. History is an endless cycle. Yesterday's news did not deter them. They will make tomorrows in a land far beyond hope. Come tomorrow night, another fleet of buses would do it again. And having read that, I would quickly read another poem, this time to break tradition, a poem of mine, which is titled The Thousand Sparkles on Your Stomach, from my collection Memory and the Call of Water. Olukayode asks how the world sinks into the sea when he sees the sun drawn like a magnet into the water's boil. Beyond the farthest holds of our eyes, he looks with wonder when under the harshest smiting of day, we come to offer our troubles to the ease of the waves. We see 1,000 snakes in sun-sparkled jaws wriggling to the wind's beats as they wave to bystanders from the bridge. The seabed holds histories of lost bones and the stories of millions whose wings failed in mid-flight and nourished the concrete floors in crimson rivers. Or were simply called to closure by mermaids seeking sacrifices of depressed souls, plunging every season to become seafood. The old seers deliver a different message, gazing through crystal balls, flipping cowries and seashells, inscribed, they say, with notes from the deepest parts, where truth is a mixture of belief and what nonsense books proclaim. The crystal balls witness the advent of stories, the memory of souls who wrestle the dogs at Hades' gates, fight Poseidon and leap in snaky sparkles, wearing jewels stolen as they rode off on seahorses, gifts for Aundu or Helios, whoever answers first, praying for a peace that the earth's hold denied them, seeking to be found worthy of time's embrace. So if you notice, there is a correlation between this poem and, interestingly, Servio Gbadamosi, who is also Olukayode, and the central part of my poem. You discover there's a connection, a nexus between the two of them. And that's why I decided to read that and to now read a totally different poem, which is titled Mother's Hold on Mother's Day, for Chris Ayede Agema, Maria Duro, Dora Oyana, Eugenia Abu, and Agatha Agema. This is an excerpt from the poem, because I wouldn't be reading the full things. The fires of life are lit from wombs that warm 9 months to bring wonders whose brightness denies smoke. Theirs are tales ours, all narratives. These tales fill our life, footnotes of strife that mount memories, foundations of our strength to fight, win, lose, and live. And every chapter appears on my mind sheets, me shivering with upturned eyes, my tail spiraling to a close, even as I called your name to deliver me from fever. Mommy! What other name burns in a child's heart in times of strain? But you are far away seeking means to find our bread of sustenance. You arrived home at midnight after a 17-hour shift, wearing your tiredness like a coat. Your eyes met my shivering frame, motherly instinct undressed your exhaustion as you picked me up. Your feet became wings, speeding our run to the nearest hospitals miles away. We had silence for our companion, and when it became too comfortable, a sob from you, or some more clattering of teeth from me. We found the home of healing after an eternity on our feet, me on your back like a rider on a donkey. By dawn, I was well enough to go to another day, and you simply took your bath and found the road to work again. The chapters roll, and quickly I find myself years away. Our tale has made me a wandering man seeking bread for my mouth. And the boy who rode on your back yesterday walks the streets today to seek remnants of wealth that hides in the countries yesterday, that hides in our countries yesterday. Your voice is a whisper that sneaks on the other side. A laugh only you can conjure appears in my mind, and I try to translate it to words. But you cut me short. Hello, son. I can't talk much. The boss is watching, and I have hours to clock before I close. It is Sunday, like today, and your increasing grace no excuse to decrease your manner hours, seeking the bread you have placed on our tables through the several pages of our tales. I nearly charge a Napoleon who lets you work, blind to the bend time has brought to your waist. The piper dictates. You answer my unsaid charge. I swallow poverty's impotence. The line clicks off as work drags your love away, leaving me with a memory no warmth or distance can hide. And so I pray now that God, if you live above the clouds as you do in our hearts, if you are there, God, best author writing our tales, please read her of every torment, send memory to give her more pleasurable moments, and let the spirit of every fire live on. Let the smokes be dispersed, for life is a narrative. And you, my dear mother, you, our dear mothers, remain the heart of our every tale, a fire that burns bright in all our hearts. And the final poem is taken from Face Me, I Face You by Oyedamola, a fascinating and most beautiful poet whose collection continues to make us smile. And this is from the first selection. It's the first section. The section is called Balava, and it starts with a short explanation from Fela, letting us know that it's from his classic tune, Trouble Sleep, Yanga Wake. Now, the poem is How I Got This Ring, and it transitions to a visitor from hell. Across the door, Mommy stared in horror with her arms folded and tongue loaded. I, almost kissing 30, as single as a digit, a tenant in Mommy's house, clothed in her stolen blouse, twerked to Cardi B's lyrics as I scrubbed the bedroom sink. I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got this ring. A visitor from hell. On Saturday, Tishola visited from noon till dusk. She talked about Lagbaja's marriage to Tamedu, and we knew how this would lead, where this would lead to. As she gathered her belongings ready to leave, she turned to me and said, "When will you find a man to marry and bring children home for us to carry? If hell needs fire to rent, it would be from Mommy's sweet mouth, as she replied, Shola, when your husband returns, the one your loud mouth drove insane, that is when she will bring her own husband too. Then, the end.